So we have the NCAA FBS football TV schedule for week 3 of the college football season here. For all the games on, this includes all the games on ESPN, ESPN Plus, ESPN 2, ESPNU. It also includes the ABC games, the 3 that are on ABC, the 4 that are on ESPN, 3 for sure that are on ESPN2, but sometimes there are 4. 3, there used to be, 4 on, I believe 4 on ESPNU. I could be wrong, but now it's typically, I think, just like 3 now. Then Fox typically has at least 2, but 2 on Saturdays and then 1 now on Sunday. On Fridays they're doing 1 because they had WWE SmackDown on Fox for the professional wrestling, the WWE. And they had their SmackDown for 2 hours because they have primetime for 2 hours. So they did that one, but then if it kind of flopped for them, so now they're bringing a sport. Now they're just doing sports on Friday nights. They're having like college football, like UFL, like college football, like men's and women's college basketball. Maybe they have other sports. Maybe like that's it. And that was like when the World Series is going on or playoffs for MLB. They might be doing this, like so it's stuff like that, And then typically Saturdays they might have an MLB baseball game on at night in their slot, so they might have only 2, maybe 3. And then FS1 has 4 games on. CBS Sports Network has 4 games. NBC typically has 2 with the Notre Dame home games and then a Big Ten football game. And then you have CBS with 1 for sure. Now with ABC taking over the SEC on the SEC window, taking over the SEC, having full coverage of the SEC, of all SEC conference games, and all home games involving an SEC team. So he took over Big Ten now from Fox. They actually took over Big Ten from Fox big time. They actually took over the big time games, like for the regular season, are still going to be on Fox, but they don't get the Big Ten conference championship. That goes to CBS. NBC just gets regular season games, but they have more on Peacock those too. So, but yeah. Anyways, let's take a look at it. So on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern on Thursday, there's one between Arizona State out of the Big 12 and Texas State out of the Sun Belt. Northwestern State, an FCS team who is 0-2, is taking South Alabama out of the Sun Belt at 7:30 Eastern and ESPN Plus. On ESPN, there's one UNLV out of the Mountain West against Kansas out of the Big 12 at 7 Eastern ESPN. 8 Eastern Fox, we have Arizona out of the Big 12 and Kansas State out of the Big 12 as well. A Big 12 match, a Big 12 conference game at 8 Eastern Fox. That's number 20 Arizona, number 14 Kansas State. We have some games, big time games this year. We have Nevada 1-2 taking on 1-1 Minnesota on Big Ten Network at 3:30 Eastern. Fox has number 4 Alabama and Wisconsin at noon. ESPN2, I'm just gonna say these are the noontime slot games, New Eastern games. We have number 13 Oklahoma 2-0 taking on Tulsa at 1-1. 1-1 number 16 ranked LSU 1-1 taking on 2-0 South Carolina on ABC and ESPN Plus simulcast. Looks like now they're simulcasting the most ABC events on ESPN Plus. because ESPN you can watch, ABC you can watch for free over the air. So they're just putting on ESPN Plus, maybe, Then we got Arkansas State taking number 17 ranked Michigan on Big Ten Network at noon Eastern. Peacock has Central Michigan and Illinois at noon Eastern, at noon as well. Memphis at 2-0 taking on 0-2 and 0-2 Florida State squad, who had big expectations going into the season. And they got snubbed from being in the conference cultural playoff, being 13-0. But, they've been 0-2 this year. Now, 2 losses on the season. Florida State has. They lost to Boston College on the Monday night game. And they lost to Georgia Tech in Dublin. And then they lost to Boston College on Monday night game. That was a Monday night game. It's called NCAA. It has games on Sundays and Mondays. A couple featured games instead of just having a few typical games. I know NCAA has a few games on Thursdays for TV networks, a few games on Friday for TV networks. Mainly the Saturdays are the majority of the games. But they do have ones on Sundays and Mondays. Or Sunday and Monday in the first, week. In the first week, at the week 1. When all the college football teams play. The week, Labor Day. Like a couple days before Labor Day, Saturday, Sunday. For Labor Day, and then the Thursday before Labor Day. They have some too. But yeah. So they're still getting the ESPN time slot, an early time slot on ESPN. So again, 3 ESPN games in a row. Despite, maybe I'll lose all. Maybe ESPN, maybe be on the main ESPN networks, but I look for them this season. Who knows? We got Louisiana Tech at 1-0 of Conference USA taking on NC State of the ACC on ACC Network. Cincinnati and Miami, Ohio on ESPNU. This is a Big 12 Cincinnati squad against a Miami, Ohio squad. We have North Texas in the American at 2-0 take on 1-1 Texas Tech of the Big 12 FS1 at 12:45 Eastern. Number 24 Boston College and number 6 Missouri is at 2-0. I'm surprised that game didn't get like an ESPN time slot. I'm kind of, or even ABC. It should have got an ABC time slot. To be honest with you, because LSU South Carolina, that could have been moved to AC or SEC Network. That could have been moved to SEC Network. 12:45 p.m. Eastern times. SEC Network could have been, but they didn't. They moved it to They moved it to they moved it to they put an SC Network, which sometimes I know they do that. Maybe it's so then people buy like the SC Network package to watch the game. Maybe more people do. I don't know, We have Massachusetts taking on Buffalo on to UMass. It's independent, but they only like 10 for all sports aren't football, but they are FBS in football, and like 10 is FCS in football. We have 0-2 UMass taking on 1-1 Buffalo of the MAC. That's at 1 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. We got 2 Eastern on ESPN Plus. We have Coastal Carolina at 2-0 of the Sun, but taking on Temple on 2 of the American. On Fox, we got Oregon, number 9 Oregon, 3-0, or 2-0, excuse me, of the Big N taking on Oregon State of the Pac-12 at 3:30 Eastern. Fox. Ball State is 1-0 in the MAC taking on 2-0 Miami of the ACC and AC Network. Tulane 1-1 that's at 3:30 Eastern, and 3:30 Eastern is Oregon State. These are all ESPN, or all 3:30 Eastern games, by the way. 3:30 Eastern time games. Tulane 1-1 of the American and 2-0 Oklahoma of the SEC. Number 15, that's at ESPN. Notre Dame number 18 Notre Dame at 1-1 after a huge upset loss to Northern Illinois. And Purdue 1-0 of the Big Ten and CBS. Notre Dame is independent of football, despite being ACC in every other sport. Which I don't know why they're not in ACC in football. I don't know though. Why though? I don't know. I really don't. Especially when ACC is FBS, but I guess they got that deal with NBC for their games, so maybe they taken it, but they'd get probably a bigger lucrative deal as like the ACC as a whole. I would assume they would. We got Texas A&M and Florida. They're both 1-1 of the SEC conference matchup on ABC. We have Prairie View A&M out of the SWAC in the FCS taking on Michigan State 2-0 of the Big Ten on Big Ten Network. We have Washington State Washington 3:30 on Peacock. That's a Peacock. We have VMI, an FCS squad VMI, taking on Georgia Tech 2-1. VMI is 0-2, and that is on ESPN Plus and simulcast on ESCC Network Extra. All football games are simulcast. All football games that are on ACC Network Extra are simulcast to ESPN Plus, which I'm kind of surprised they don't do that for all sports, like all the ACC Network, SC Network games, or the AC Network Extras and the SC Network Pluses. I'm surprised they don't just put them to ESPN Plus. I'm kind of surprised they don't, but they don't. We have West Virginia out of the Big 12 and Pittsburgh out of the ACC on ESPN2. Morgan State FCS team and HBCU FCS team taking on Ohio out of the MAC. They're both 1-1. And at 4 Eastern, we have some games here. We have a couple games. FS1 has 0-2 Troy out of the Sun Belt. Troy is out of the Sun Belt. And we have Iowa out of the Big Ten at 1-1. App State is in the Sun Belt 1-1. East Carolina is the American at 2-0 on ESPN. 4:15 Eastern has UAB, the Blazers of the American, taking Arkansas of the SEC. Utah and Utah State. That is on CBS Sports Network at 4:30 Eastern. Utah Pac-12 team taking on Utah State of Mountain West. Utah was a Pac-12 team, I should say. They're not a Big 12 team. Taking on Utah State of the Mountain West. We have some games at 6 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN Plus. We have UConn taking on Duke. UConn is an independent. They're taking on Duke of the ACC. NC Central HBCU FCS team taking on North Carolina of the ACC. 1-1 and 2-0 on ESPN Plus. Virginia Tech traveling to Old Dominion at 6 Eastern. 1-1 against 1-2. We have FIU and FAU. FIU is in Conference USA. FAU is in American. That's 1-1 and 1-2. UTEP and Liberty. That is a Conference USA showdown. UTEP and Liberty are both in Conference USA. And that's going to be on 0-2 against 2-0. And then we have South Carolina State and HBCU FCS team take on Sunbelt Georgia Southern. And we have Colgate out of the Patriot League take on Akron out of the MAC. Both 0-2 and Gardner Webb of the Big South, I believe. And Charlotte of the American, both on 0-2 teams on ESPN. And then we have 6:30 Eastern. We on the CW Network. CW Network normally airs one college football game featuring an ACC team at home because they have the rights to the ACC package they bought when Raycom Sports, it was Raycom Sports, I believe, or Raycom in general or whatever, they had rights to an ACC game of the week, either a game of the week or multiple games of the week or whatever the case was, and they aired games on like local affiliates, you know, like they would have affiliate deals with like to broadcast the games all over the United States with different like affiliate providers, whether it's independent stations like my network TV affiliates, CW affiliates. I know mine was on like on the local CW affiliate. That's where mine was. My games were. My team's games were. Or my area, it wasn't necessarily my team, but it was like the ACC games. They were on the CW, on my CW network in my area. And then they would do like men's basketball. I know men's basketball. I'm not for sure if they did women's. I know Fox, when it was Fox Sports, they did women's, and now, you know. And I know Fox went over the Valley, they did it. I know they dropped out of the deal. And then I know Stadium had some college football as well. Games. Like they were produced like on like the Steam channel and like over their Steam channel on the website, and also like I believe they were like they had deals with like Fox Sports and Bally Sports affiliates. That went downhill. But Bally Sports has been getting bankrupt though, so they lost because I mean what saved them kind of is the MLS deals. They've had the MLS went to Apple TV, like I think worldwide went to Apple TV, so they've had like for the most part, and besides a few national TV games, you know, in those certain local countries, so it's like, you know, like, and then I know that really helped them. And I know they've been scrapping a few MLB teams, like NBA, NHL, WNBA teams. They've been scrapping out scrapping out teams here and there. Like they scrapped a few big time NBA deals, you know, and they shut down Bally Sports Arizona and Arizona Extras because they would just have like the national feed running 24/7 on Bally Sports Arizona. So it's like no need for a channel, you know. So and maybe soon to be they might scrap out some deals with MLB, you know, because MLB season is over soon, gonna be. And they can negotiate deals and like probably starting after like the World Series, or maybe even when their team is done playing, you know, the rest of the season. And maybe after like the off season, maybe they'll start doing deals, you know. Who knows? But I don't know. There's some big mess right now. Anyway, but then I know but then the CW I know took over that. I know Fox Sports had that, and then Fox Sports sold out because to Bally Sports. I think Fox Sports knew that something was going on maybe with them, or maybe just Bally Sports was interested in them, and or maybe Fox Sports seen that demise going downhill. Maybe they capitalized on the thing. Maybe they knew that, And if so, you can't blame them for that. I mean, and then Bethune-Cookman of the SWAC is taking on Western Michigan out of MAC on ESPN Plus at 6:30 Eastern. And then Ole Miss is number 5th out of the SEC, and ACC Wake Forest and the CW Network at 6:30 Eastern. And I know the CW Network also has rights to all of the Washington State home football games, as well as Oregon State home football games. The only one that there might be like one Washington State game and one like Oregon State. There's like Oregon State. Like that rival. Some of the rivalries they might have. Like they're playing like power conference teams. They might be on Fox or ESPN or another network like that, but otherwise, they might bid for a specific game like a network might. But other than that, I mean, they're pretty much on the CW network for like most of their sports events, like football, men's and women's basketball, all that stuff. Majority of their games are going to be on CW network for all their sports. For the big time sports, like football. And I know West Coast Conference. I know they're West Coast Conference and all the other sports, like so it's just football. But they might be on like CW network for like basketball or something. Men's and women's basketball. They might. Too, who knows? I'm not for sure. I wouldn't think so because they have a streaming deal with ESPN Plus. The West Coast Conference does. After being like lumped in with like Stadium or something like that, I believe. They were, you can watch it through like Steam, but then they branched. So, but anyways, at 7 Eastern we have some games. We have UTSA and Texas. Number 2 Texas. UTSA is 1-1 out of the American. Number 2 Texas is 2-0 out of the SEC and ESPN. Vanderbilt out of the SEC. Take on 1-1 Georgia State out of the Sun Belt. Georgia State is out of the Sun Belt. In that game, yes, they're out of the Sun Belt. And that is on ESPN Plus. These are all 7 Eastern games, by the way. We have True TV with another Mountain West football game. WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, is trying to revamp True TV and turn it into like an afternoon, like a sport, like be like cable. Sometimes cable back in the old days, they might have had say cartoons on in the morning, and then in the afternoon, and then come like afternoon, like mid-afternoon, evening time, they might turn into a sports channel. And then maybe say Saturdays and Sundays, there might be cartoons on in the morning and then sports channel, earlier in the day. Stuff like that. Do 2 channels in one, share airspace. But True TV is trying to do that. Warner Brothers Discovery is trying to revamp True TV. Like TNT has been the main home of TNT has been the main home of like football or like March Madness. I mean, True TV's only been used for like March Madness, like men's March Madness. They're trying out with exclusive college football games only on True TV. Like TNT has NBA or NH. It's gonna be NHL now and like other stuff, and then maybe with the French Open. They may air French Open on like TNT, TBS, True TV now, all 3 channels. And then if you got other sports, like maybe like overflow like MLB games. Maybe I know there are 2 MLB games TBS does. So if there's one that they want to air, but one overlaps the other, they'll air it. They'll probably air it all on True TV from the start. And then there are maybe nights they have MLB. They might have like MLB like studio shows, like talking about like recaps of all the games going on right now currently. Like a whip around coverage. And same maybe with NHL. They might, and maybe like NBHL playoff games or other NHL games, or like other sports, and they may rights to some sports, get rights to sports, like the True TV, like the Mountain West football deal. It's not like, and yeah, I know, I know they're revamping with like Big East men's and women's basketball, so it's like, it's, and then they split with like NBC, for their deal of like Big East. They took away like CBS and CBS Sports Network's packages and left Fox with theirs. So it's like, I know they're trying to revamp their sports. So it's like huge, Like a lot of these TV channels are focused on sports now. Because it's like big deal, Especially some of these TV networks like True TV. Like True TV actually I think used to be known for like courtroom, like the court TV. It's in like over the air flights and stuff like that. It actually used to be like that. And then they got out of it and went to something else. And it's like flopped for them. Flopped for a while, so. Like, I know they have Impractical Jokers, but like reruns of a bunch of stuff, so it's like, But yeah. But I know that Mountain West football is like that's mainly like the Mountain West football is mainly like the games that we're going to be on the Mountain West Network streaming service for free. They were going to be maybe be in like local TV providers in the area. Maybe they were going to be on like local TV providers in like that are in the area, in the San Diego State fan base area, in the Kansas State fan base area might show the game, on like local TV. But then like the other channels, might but then True TV picked it up, some games up, like on like a whim. They just probably use like announcers that might have been formerly employed by like ESPN or Fox Sports, maybe CB, maybe other big networks. They were employed by other big networks, but they're in like, and then they got canned from like ESPN or Fox or something like that. And now they're on now they're calling games for like True TV, so football for like True TV. It might be the same with like the basketball. I could see actually the ones, I know for basketball they have some of the ones that are like CBS. They use some of the CBS announcers. I thought True TV and stuff like that was like TNT was like CBS. But it's not actually. But they just use some of the same announcers. I know, kind of, so. But I know it wasn't like it might not have been like a super, super expensive deal. Maybe it was like the bare minimum that, like the bare minimum that they were, like, hey, well, like the bare minimum, like they would accept, But still, it's better than nothing, They figure, or whatever, True TV was when they give them. These games would be on like streaming anyways for free, so it'd be like maybe they get a little bit of money from like local deals, so it's more to get national money, which is better than nothing, if which is true. Better than nothing, it revamps True TV and it's a win-win for both. And then it's Kansas State of the FCS taking on Kansas State as of the Atlantic Sun, I believe. The ASUN and taking San Jose State out of the Mountain West. 1-2 against 2-0. Jacksonville State is an FCS, or an FBS team, excuse me. They're FBS. They're in Conference USA. You got Eastern Michigan out of the MAC on Eastern Plus. Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee State, a Conference USA game. Conference USA conference game on ESPN Plus. And then we have Hawaii, Sam Houston. Hawaii is in the West Coast Conference in all sports, but football. In football, they are in the Mountain West. Because West Coast Conference is FCS. They are FBS. And Sam Houston is out of the Conference USA. That's at 7 Eastern. And 7 Eastern, we have South Florida, the American, taking on a Sunbelt Southern Miss team. 7:30 Eastern, we have ABC, and it has number 1 Georgia and taking on Kentucky. That's an SEC conference game. Conference. That's at 7:30 Eastern. ABC and ESPN Plus simulcast. We have Big Ten Network has Northern Iowa out of the FCS. They're in the Missouri Valley, Northern Iowa. They are taking on Nebraska, number 23 ranked Nebraska out of the Big Ten. The Big Ten Network. ESPN 2 has New Mexico 0-2. Taking on Auburn 1-1. ESPN 2 at 7:30 Eastern. These are 7:30 Eastern games, by the way. We have NBC as Indiana and UCLA. 2-0 Indiana against 1-0 UCLA on NBC. On FS1, Air Force out of the Mountain West. Take on Baylor out of the Big 12. CBS has Colorado out of the Big 12. Take on Colorado State out of the Mountain West. Fox has UCF and TCU in a Big 12 conference game. Eastern Illinois and Northwestern is on Big 10. Eastern Illinois out of the FCS and Northwestern out of Big 10. Both 1-1. Kent State is 0-2 out of the MAC. Take on number 7 ranked Tennessee, 2-0 out of the SEC. On SEC Network at 7:45 Eastern. 8 Eastern. We have 2 games. Maryland taking on Virginia. Maryland out of the Big 10 taking Virginia out of the ACC. On the ACC Network. And Rice and the American taking Houston out of the Big 12 on ESPN Plus. And then we have BYU in the Big 12 taking Wyoming out of the Mountain West. 2-0 BYU against 1-2 Wyoming on CBS Sports Network at 9 Eastern. And then we have San Diego State out of the Mountain West taking on California out of the ACC on ESPN at 10:30 Eastern. And True TV has New Mexico State and Fresno State. Both 1-1 at 10:30 Eastern. Then we have FCS football. So let's take a look at some of the FCS games. Central Connecticut, St. Francis, PA. These are all the noon Eastern games. Central Connecticut, St. Francis, PA, both 1-1. On the NEC, now we got NEC front row. Behind long 1-1, and the Patriot long 1-2. We on NEC front row. North Greenville and the Citadel on ESPN Plus. 0-1 versus 1-1. Mercyhurst at 1-1 against Morris 1-2 on ESPN. Marist Lafayette on ESPN Plus at 12:30 Eastern. 1 Eastern on Flow Sports. They have Delaware and NCNT. Flow Sports has rights to certain conferences, college sports games, like exclusive rights to the whole conference. Like these football conferences that like 2-3 conferences that might merge together. They have a football program. Not every school has a football program, but some of the schools that merge together have a football program. They might merge, like 2-3 conferences might merge together to form like one super football conference, big football conference. Because only partial members might have it. So, but yeah, but they have rights to certain football conferences, like either home games for involving a home member, or like all conference games, obviously. That's at 1 Eastern. And then we'll talk about the 1 Easterns. We have Saybrook Fordham 1-1 and 0-2. 0-2 Western Light against 1-1 Illinois State. So we have Georgetown at 2-0 and Sticker 1-1. And Lynchburg and Presbyterian. Lynchburg is playing their first game of the season, while Presbyterian is 1-1. That's all the remaining ones are on ESPN Plus, did I mention. We have a couple on the Flow Sports at 2 Eastern, and as well as ESPN Plus. We have Flow Sports has Charleston Southern Richmond, Holy Cross and Bryant, and then ESPN Plus has 3 of them at 2 Eastern. Idaho, North Dakota, Idaho State, North Dakota, both 1-1. Duquesne 1-2 and Youngstown State is 1-1. And 2-0 Stetson, that's 1-2 Furman. We have a game involving like a D2 or D3 team, or even an NAIA team, and a Summit League team. The Summit League team games are on Midcoast Sports Network. Midcoast Sports Network has had Summit League game rights. They have, and then what they would do is they would then ESPN would simulcast them. ESPN would. But, or it'd be like mainly like ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus would simulcast them. But ESPN Plus actually lost the Summer League rights. CBS Sports Network actually paid out of the nose for the Summer League rights. Especially for like men's and women's basketball, they pay a lot for them, more than ESPN Plus is willing to pay. And then I know Midco Sports Network paid a lot for streaming right. Like the remaining games at ESPN Plus is normally televising. I know Midco Sports Network paid a lot, paid way more than ESPN is willing to pay. So they actually gave up the rights to them. So that's 1-0, that's 1-2. And that might be on local TV networks as well. I know, just because someone wanted to say ESPN Plus, they might be like locally televised, and then they pick up the feed from the locally televised, game. Use their like local announcers are calling the game. And then we have Wagner and Dollar State both 1-1, and these are 3 Eastern games. Wagner, Dollar State 1-1, both 1-1 on ESPN Plus. Morehead State 2-0 and Montana 1-1 on ESPN Plus. And CNBC is airing a college football game between 1-2 Morehouse and 1-1 Howard. CNBC typically airs stock market stuff, but since CNBC but since it's weekend, on the weekends, I know on the weekends they will, mainly on Saturdays and Sundays, they'll air stuff that like NBC may have, like especially now on Saturdays, NBC airs college football, a Notre Dame game and a Big Ten game, typically, or they might air one maybe a week. There's no Notre Dame game, they may air a Big Ten game, additional Big Ten game, or they may air like golf and other stuff like golf. So I know typically they air the stuff that like when there's, or like or sometimes they air during the week, but not very often. Typically, I know that's only during like the Olympics, like in the wintertime, maybe like when the Olympics are like, not on during like their normal broadcast run, during like their normal broadcast times of like stock market coverage. Like the Beijing Winter Olympics, they did it till like the stock market coverage was on for the day, and they would air like the fourth, like stuff that NBC, that was on NBC, the most popular, or CNBC or USA Network, or like E is getting the game of the Olympics, so E Network, they would air like the fourth one, of some events. But yeah, USA Network might have had like NASCAR on or IndyCar on or something like that, or other stuff like WeatherTech Sports Car Championship racing. So I know NBC has a lot of NASCAR stuff, and they are all like the practices. Like, I don't know if they are necessarily air all the practices, but they might. They might, and they are like practices, like other stuff like practices. Stuff like that. So that might push to CNBC. I know NBC shut down their sports network, like their national sports network. Like NBC still has like their local sports networks, but the only reason I think they actually still make a little bit of money on them is because of the fact that they're not 24/7 like airing sports, like Bally Sports Network and Fox Sports. They were 24/7 airing. Like, I know Fox Sports might have aired like paid programming in the end, and then they went to like no paid programming on them. I know like the NBC Sports Networks, they're not airing like actual sports like baseball, basketball, like baseball, like MLB, like NBA, like NHL. So that they might be like during like overnight hours or like morning time, when they're not airing they're airing like local sports shows, like the feeds from like they might be like the camera, and then they might might be like the radio, on the radio, like a big sports network, in the area, like from a big town, So, and then we have Monmouth and Maine at 0-2 and 1-1. Monmouth and Maine. Townsend 1-1, taking 2-0 Villanova. Those two are in Pillow Sports at 3-3 Eastern. And I'm not going to do the FBS and first FBS. I'm not going to because I already mentioned them earlier. We have some at 4 Eastern. Hinton at 1-1, taking 1-2 Norfolk State. And then we have ULB and Idaho both at 1-1. And South Dakota at 1-1, taking 1-2 Portland State. And Abilene Christian is 1-1. They're taking 1-2 at North Colorado. Those are all at 4 Eastern and Eastern Plus. 5:30 Eastern Eastern Plus. We have North Dakota State and ETSU both 1-1. Those are 5:30 Eastern Eastern Plus. 6 Eastern on Flow Sports is Campbell and Rhode Island, both 1-1. 1-1 William Mary taking on Wofford at 2-0. That's an Eastern Plus. These are all 6 Eastern, by the way. We have Western Carolina and Elon. Western Carolina is 1-2, taking on 1-1 Elon. And 1-1 Stonehill taking on 1-1 New Hampshire. That's on Flow Sports. And then on ESPN Plus, we have West Georgia at 1-1 and 1-2 Eastern Kentucky. 2-0 Mercer at 1-2 Chattanooga. 1-0 Dane at 1-2 Indiana State. 1-2 at 1-1 Butler. No. And when they're on local television networks, or like maybe school website, maybe the Butler's website for school website, or maybe in like local over the air only. We have Hanover at 1-1, taking on 2-0 Butler. We have 70 streams. Austin P taking on 0-2, taking 1-1 Central Arkansas. Lindenwood and Missouri State both 1-2. Those Mississippi State and Murray State, they're both 1-2. That's on ESPN Plus. We have Mississippi Valley State. We have Augustina from South Dakota taking on South Dakota State. It's 1-0 versus 1-1. Incarnate Ward Central Illinois. Sorry, Southern Illinois, my bad. Incarnate Ward Southern Illinois. 1-1, both 1-1. Alabama State at 1-1, taking on Stanford at 1-2. On the Griot, we have Tennessee. That might be a Griot game. One of the games on the Griot. I know the Griot and HBCU go. They are college football games, so that might be one of the games on the Griot. Or on the Griot or HBCU go. That's at 7 Eastern. We have Southern Jackson State. I mean, that could be on local school website as well. Southern Jackson State at 101 on ESPN Plus. Edward Waters in Alcorn State. That could be an HBCU go or the Griot. Or a school website. Maybe. Or maybe another streaming service that I don't know about. That's at 7 Eastern. North Alabama UT Martin at 7 Eastern. North Alabama 1-3, UT Martin 1-2. Grambling, Texas A&M Commerce 1-1 versus 1-2. 0-0 first game of the season for Louisiana College, taking on Houston Christian at 1-2. Weber State and Lamar 1-1, both 1-1. East Russian at 1-1, taking on 1-2 Southern Louisiana. Point, taking on Davidson. Point first game of the season, taking on Davidson, who was 1-1. And all those that they didn't mention were on a streaming, but streaming service. They were on ESPN Plus. We have G-Town College taking on Alabama. It's G-Town College's first game of the year. They're taking on 1-1 Alabama at 7 Eastern. Either an HBCU go or the Griot or a school website or something like that. Or another streaming service they don't know about. Then we have a few games remaining here for FCS. We have Indiana Wesleyan playing their first game of the season. Taking on 0-2 Valparaiso at 7 Eastern and ESPN Plus. UC Davis taking on Southern Utah. They're both 1-1. That's at Eastern ESPN Plus. Western Oregon is 0-1. They're taking on 0-2 Cal Poly at Eastern ESPN Plus. As well as Stephen F. Weston 1-1, taking on 1-2 McNeese. And then we have two games at Eastern ESPN Plus. Northern Arizona at 1-1, taking Utah Tech at 0-2. And 0-2 Nichols taking on 0-2 Sacramento State.